Hello, I am preparing these videos according to IMDb scores. There may be changes in the scores. Which is your rank? You can write in the comments. Thank you. Number 10. Eyes Wide Shut. After his wife, Alice, tells him about her sexual fantasies, William Harford sets out for a night of sexual adventure. After several less than successful encounters, he meets an old friend, Nick Nightingale, now a musician, who tells him of strange sex parties where he is required to play the piano blindfolded. All the men at the party are costumed and wear masks, while the women are all young and beautiful. Harford manages to find an appropriate costume and heads out to the party. Once there, however, he is warned by someone who recognizes him, despite the mask, that he is in great danger. He manages to extricate himself, but the threats prove to be quite real and sinister. Number 9. Interview with the Vampire. The Vampire Chronicles. Against the backdrop of a gloomy San Francisco, the nearly 2-century-old vampire, Louis D. Dulac, recounts the unbelievable story of his eternal transformation and a life worse than death to the septic reporter Daniel Malloy. Spanning 200 years of cruel betrayals, extreme solitude, and unquenched thirst, Louis' grimly fascinating tale pivots around his perpetually regrettable decision to embrace the dictatorship of blood and, above all, his maker, the seductive blonde aristocrat of death. Lestat de Lioncourt. Is Louis' mystical epic of bloodshed genuine? Is this, indeed, an interview with a vampire? Number 8. Minority Report. In the year 2054, crime is virtually eliminated from Washington, D.C. thanks to an elite law enforcing squad, Precrime. They use 3 gifted humans called precogs, with special powers to see into the future and predict crimes beforehand. John Anderton heads Precrime and believes the system's flawlessness steadfastly. However, one day, the precogs predict that Anderton will commit a murder himself in the next 36 hours. Worse, Anderton doesn't even know the victim. He decides to get to the mystery's core by finding out the Minority Report, which means the prediction of the female precog Agatha, that might tell a different story and prove Anderton innocent. Number 7. Mission Impossible Fallout. 2 years after Ethan Hunt had successfully captured Solomon Lane, the remnants of the syndicate have reformed into another organization called the Apostles, under the leadership of a mysterious fundamentalist known only as John Lark. The organization is planning on acquiring 3 plutonium cores. Ethan and his team are sent to Berlin to intercept them, but the mission fails when Ethan saves Luther and the Apostles escape with the plutonium. With CIA agent August Walker joining the team, Ethan and his allies must now find the plutonium cores before it's too late. Number 6. A Few Good Men. In this dramatic courtroom thriller, Daniel Kaffee, a Navy lawyer who has never seen the inside of the courtroom, defends 2 stubborn Marines who have been accused of murdering a colleague. Kaffee is known as being lazy and had arranged for a plea bargain. Downey's Aunt Ginny appoints CMR Galloway to represent him. Also on the legal staff is LGG Sam Weinberg. The team rounds up many facts and Kaffee is discovering that he is really cut out for trial work. The defense is originally based upon the fact that Pepe C. Santiago, the victim, was given a code red. Santiago was basically a screw-up. At Gitmo, screw-ups aren't tolerated, especially by Col Nathan Jessup. In Cuba, Jessup and 2 senior officers try to give all the help they can. But Kaffee knows something's fishy. In the conclusion of the film, the fireworks are set off by a confrontation between Jessup and Kaffee. Number 5. The Last Samurai. In the 1870s, Captain Nathan Algren Tom Cruise, a cynical veteran of the American Civil War, who will work for anyone, is hired by Americans who want lucrative contracts with the Emperor of Japan to train the peasant conscripts for the first standing imperial army in modern warfare using firearms. The Imperial Omura Masato Harada cabinet's first priority is to repress a rebellion of traditionalist samurai, hereditary warriors, who remain devoted to the sacred dynasty, but reject the westernizing policy and even refuse firearms. Yet, when his ill-prepared superior force sets out too soon, their panic allows the sword-wielding samurai to crush them. Badly wounded, Algren's courageous stand makes the samurai leader Katsumoto Ken Watanabe spare his life. Once nursed to health, he learns to know and respect the old Japanese way, and participates as advisor in Katsumoto's failed attempt to save the Bushido tradition. But Omura gets repressive laws enacted. He must now choose to honor his loyalty to one of the embittered sides when the conflict returns to the battlefield. Number 4. Edge of Tomorrow. An alien race has hit the Earth in an unrelenting assault, unbeatable by any military unit in the world. Major William Cage Cruz is an officer who has never seen a day of combat when he is unceremoniously dropped into what amounts to a suicide mission. Killed within minutes, Cage now finds himself inexplicably thrown into a time loop, forcing him to live out the same brutal combat over and over, fighting and dying again and again. But with each battle, Cage becomes able to engage the adversaries with increasing skill. Alongside Special Forces warrior Vratoski Blunt, and as Cage and Vratoski take the fight to the aliens, each repeated encounter gets them one step closer to defeating the enemy. Number 3. Magnolia. 24 Hours in La, It's Raining Cats and Dogs. Two parallel and intercut stories dramatize men about to die. Both are estranged from a grown child. Both want to make contact, and neither child wants anything to do with dad. Earl Partridge's son is a charismatic misogynist. Jimmy Gator's daughter is a cokehead and waif. A mild and caring nurse intercedes for Earl, reaching the son. A prayerful and upright beat cop meets the daughter, is attracted to her, and leads her toward a new cause. Meanwhile, guilt consumes Earl's young wife, while two whiz kids, one grown and a loser and the other young and pressured, face their situations. The weather, too, is quirky. Number 2. Rain Man. Charles Sanford, Charlie Babbitt, is a self-centered, Los Angeles-based automobile dealer or hustler or bookie who is at war with his own life. Charlie, as a young teenager, used his father's 1949 Buick convertible without permission, and as a result, he went to jail for 2 days on account that his father reported it stolen. It is then that Charlie learns that his estranged father died and left him from his last will and testament a huge bed of roses and the car, while the remainder, will of $3 million goes into a trust fund to be distributed to someone. Charlie seemed pretty angry by this and decides to look into this matter. It seems as if that someone is Raymond, Charlie's unknown brother, an autistic savant who lives in a world of his own, resides at the Walbrook Institute. Charlie then kidnaps Raymond and decides to take him on a lust-for-life trip to the West Coast as a threat to get the $3 million inheritance. Raymond's acts and nagging, including repeated talks of Abbott and Costello, 4 minutes till Wapner, and refusal to fly on an airline except Qantas, drives Charlie insane and out of his selfish world into a cross-country trek of pure love and understanding that these two both have. Number 1. Top Gun Maverick. Set 30 years after its predecessor, it follows Maverick's return to the United States Navy Strike Fighter Tactics Instructor Program, also known as U.S. Navy Fighter Weapons School, Top Gun, where he must confront his past as he trains a group of younger pilots. Among them, the son of Maverick's deceased best friend, Lieutenant Nick "Goose" Bradshaw Uzun.